27-year-old man sentenced after enrolling in high school to prey on teens. Sometimes I wonder, is this real life? Is this fantasy? 'Cause this can't be for real. 27-year-old man sentenced after enrolling in high school to prey on teens. My first question is, why do men Why? Because that's the most important question we have to ask here. Why do men? According to the article, Zachary Shaish, I'm not sure how to pronounce that last name, was sentenced to 85 to 120 years in prison on charges including sexual assault and sexually explicit images of children. During the fall semester in 2022, a new student came to Lincoln Northwest High School in Lincoln, Nebraska, as a junior transfer student. By springtime, he reemerged across town at Lincoln Southeast, a school he had graduated from in 2015. My first question is, there were no teachers from the time, but maybe his teachers had all retired and left. Because that's only a 7-year difference. Like, y'all didn't look at him and be like, damn, this little boy looked familiar to me. The student was known by his peers as 17-year-old, quote, Zach Hess, end quote. But he was really Zachary Shaish, a 26-year-old man who for more than 50 school days passed himself off as a high schooler so he could befriend, exploit, and in some cases, sexually assault more than a dozen girls, some as young as 13. He had a slight build and stood at 5'4", which helped him fit in with the teenage students, according to the police. This 26-year-old man enrolled his ass in high school so he could have access to teenage girls, some as young as 13. Saish was sentenced to 85 to 120 years in prison on charges of sexual assault, child entitlement with electronic communication, and generating sexually explicit images of children, capping a 2-year saga of impersonation and sexual abuse, end quote. He's going to be eligible for parole in 40 years when he's in his 60s, late 60s. Listen to how he did this. According to the court records, he created false documents and an, quote, elaborate backstory, end quote, to gain enrollment in the school. He provided a birth certificate, a high school transcript, immunization records, and a physical from a clinic, which all appeared to be fraudulent. This motherfucker was out here making fake documents, y'all. Fake documents, fake birth certificate, fake immunization records, fake, oh my God, all fake everything. All this so he could have access to little girls. Once he was enrolled, Shaish began contacting girls in his classes via text and social media platforms like Snapchat, where he would flirt, solicit sexual contact, and in some cases, send them money and persuade them to send him sexually explicit photos of themselves, according to court records. Shaish went so far as to meet the families of some of these teenage girls before several concerned parents reported him as suspicious, prompting the investigation. Shout out to those parents. Big up, big up, big up. Shout out to those freaking parents who followed their sneaking suspicion about this grown-ass man who had the nerve to show up out their door pretending like he was a 17-year-old. This fool, I mean, it's just like, obviously the only thing that can come to my mind right now is like, why? Why? Why would you do this? But we know the answer. This motherfucker was sick. But he's not just the only one who's sick. This society is sick.